What's up guys, it's Talon here. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your solo Cash Cup performance by analyzing upcoming NAE Pro Peterbot and how he dominated the most recent solo Cash Cup. But before I get into this VOD review guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn off post notifications. Also, if you wish to support me in another way, use code TALON.FN in the Fortnite item shop, #ad. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see on the screen we have Peterbot's POV. This is going to be a VOD review of an insane Cash Cup performance where he ends up winning 4 games and ends up getting second place in another as well. There's a ton of great things to go over, and for those of you who do not know who Peterbot is, it is an upcoming pro for TNG, most recently qualified for Grand Finals and has been dominating this most recent season, and we're going to learn a bunch from this gameplay. Let's take a look at this high kill game. We're going to see a lot of familiar pros he's fighting here. Look who he's fighting here. Look at the angles off of Pepper. And then we see the use of the tack shotgun. We see Reet do this a ton when he has the shotgun, just pressures walls constantly. Nice little crack and then creates the escape route. And El Peace King, so a little elimination on Day right there. And this is first game, mind you, so already had 5 kills previously to that. And we're going to see a good use of the tack play throughout. Good angle, lets the break through. One of my favorite moves. I recommend this on high ping, low ping. Peterbot is about 30, so probably just a little bit higher than most pro players. This move is just great in general to really catch your opponents off guard. Notice the opponent goes for a pick out swing. He times it perfectly. 105. And then he's just going to basically tap fire and finish the job off. And this is, again, great example of pre-boxing piece control. Just one playing at angle and then wall pressure throughout. This is what the tack is so good. If you really trust your aim, the use of the tack could be really beneficial for playing aggressive. Now notice where he's standing. He's standing one box away in case the opponent comes and creates piece control. And then as he goes for the wall take, he sprays through. He does get it. Instantly edits. And then as you can see, he catches the opponent off guard, edits through with the blueprints. And now this opponent is stuck up against the wall here, right? So the opponent only has one escape route. And so Peterbot recognizes that and he just pre-boxes right here. We're going to see him do this throughout. And notice too, this is such a minor thing, but it actually is more important than you'd think it would be. Getting these cones first is actually a little bit more important than the wall. You want to get these cones, one, you can place them further away, but two, it keeps them on the same layer. And since he already has control this way, it really limits this opponent's options. Going up is where the opponent has the most space to get away. So keep him on the same layer is what's really good. And if you get that front wall, great. That's exactly what ends up happening. He gets all of the piece control, all the walls. And look at that aim right there, 96, 100. Fantastic shotgun aim. I'm going to put it back onto normal speed here. And we'll continue this kind of W King. Now he's fighting someone with a parasite, which can be incredibly annoying, especially with attack. And then you see the wall pressure. Opponent does have a spaz, so has to be a little bit careful. You maybe want to play a little bit. And look at that again. Same thing with the pre-box. Notice what he does here again. He cuts off the left way first. The opponent recognizes that. But then he doesn't do anything to cut off the right. So he sees he's already cracked him, and so he pre-boxes here. And what does he do here? He pre-boxes here. Again, same thing, placing those cones first. Because that's going to keep the opponent on the same layer. The opponent has nowhere to go. And then he hits a couple of body shots with the opponent that has the parasite. And then he's going to end up getting a gold spaz this game. And then the W King is going to continue. So really good examples of how preemptive piece control can end fights fast. And by placing those cones first, keeping the opponent on the same layer. Right here, simple Mitro Classic. Now, I personally do not like having a pulse rifle. If you have very good aim, it's very high damage, but I think for end game, it's not the best. Now, when you Kovacs like that, get a double dink, I'm sure it's fantastic, but I just truly believe having a Scar or even a regular AR is just a little bit better for pressure in endgame. But he does a good job here of just sitting on height, 14 kills. But you can't really pressure or bully people off your lair. And in a more stacked lobby, I feel like that's definitely much more important. Now, first game, and again, he has fantastic aim throughout hitting his shots. And we already see a plan for rotation carrying Peppers, even in first game, kind of prioritizing just movement, which is, again, kind of a facet of any solos. The more movement you have, the better. 7 pads, though. And this is first game. This is something you would expect to see more in a stack game scenario. And he can't really pressure the opponent's walls with this pulse rifle. And sometimes I find the aiming a little bit clunky. It's just, it is personal preference. But I would take a scar over, even a purple scar over a gold pulse. We kind of just see him just biding his time on height, right? He's not really forcing anything than he does right here. Good right hand peek wide edit. And again, that spray isn't that great, especially box to box. It is high damage. That's obviously the trade-off. Nice little 54. Again, sitting on a right hand peek there. But with him sitting on high ground this whole time, he just finds 500 brick right there. Makes it even better. And he just continues to crank up, which is exactly what you should do. This should be an easy, first place at a bare minimum. And he's just going to kind of sit there and bite it out. He doesn't really need to force anything, right? Because we already got that high kill, 14 eliminations. Now this is kind of I think this is where things get a little bit scuffed. He goes down to this congestion here, and then gets cracked for a little bit. And I think he loses height here. Misses a couple shots, and we lose high ground. That's the only thing that I just didn't understand from watching this first game, is kind of sit there. Like, I understand maybe wanting to frag, but going down there, and then we've lost a decent amount of HP. Fortunately, we find that 500 brick from before, and we reclaim height, but if we don't have that 500 brick, we're in a lot worse situation. Now it's fine to drop down. We just cracked the opponent. So, I'd say a minor mistake, but nothing crazy. Absolutely bullies this opponent. We're in another endgame immediately. Cracks for 100. Now this is very close. We get a kill onto a Liege. We're going to see him kill Savage here later. A lot of these players, good prominent pros. And this is where I find just a missed shot right here. And this is where I find the Scar loadout just so much better. But he doesn't have high ground. A little bit of... Notice right there, covering his head right there with those cones. Because he wants to make sure he doesn't get hit from height. It ends up actually turning into a 1v1. But he saved a decent amount of mats, so he's going to actually crank up for it. And he actually traps the opponent in the cone. Smart to shoot that cow out. Opponent's taking a lot of damage.
Oh, baby. Crazy.
He gets a first 2 wins. Now he's gonna die here off spawn. Let's take a look at some of that first miss. We don't really get to see much, but I don't know if we're just we don't have a lot of mats. But opponent actually times our pickaxe very, very well. And then we get into, we're fighting inside a building, so not the best. Just good, kind of 50-50 in was a cause. Now we have a gold spaz off spawn here. He times this beautifully. And good crosshair placement. Actually, it's the same person he just fought, believe it or not. Now that I'm looking at the name. And this is an important mid-game elimination always. Creating a lot of space as well. Now we're in an end game, and we see a P90 Spaz Combo No Assault Rifle. Cow obviously used for rotation. We don't see a lot of the rotations. This is more to focus on the mechanical side of things. Cone peeking, looking for avenues or ways. I believe he ends up only getting 12 here. Now, probably going for height with 13 people left and only 19 builds. Probably not the best play. Maybe could have tried to get another elimination or refresh before maybe making that play. Or maybe he was just trying to catch Hyde off guard. I think that's really more of what it was. He was trying to catch Hyde off guard. And he thought he could. And then a missed shot. And that's alright though. We already had a couple first good games. Now notice we get the crouch here. And we make sure, now we're going to see a very interesting technique with that sniper rifle throughout. He's going to use it to take walls. I believe even in his next elimination. It's very important. Now could have maybe gone for a cone or a ramp. Good, just flips it. Good crosshair placement. Free elimination. It's in this engagement where you're going to see him use the sniper to take the wall. Right here, takes it with a sniper. Good right hand peek. Gets the elimination, and then you're going to see him use the sniper traditionally here with a very nice 262 headshot. This angle is fantastic right here as well. You see him crack another... Just, how can you really prepare for that as an opponent? It gets a nice little refresh before moving. And then the cows in endgame are fine. They can help you get out of some sticky situations. If you're on controller, I feel like they're just a little bit more difficult to control. Fantastic cone right here. Little 24, and then you're going to see him kill Mr. Savage. Does a great job of getting ahead here, using all those extra mats from the refresh. Now he's going to create a nice little wood box, and then notice what he's going to get behind. This is a minor thing, but he's going to get behind full cover of stuff that's already built. So no one actually pressures him, and he's able to get that med kit off that he needs. Now he drops here down to low, and you should know the whole lobby is pretty much to his left or above him. So maybe a cover just to avoid it taking a little bit of damage. Making sure to cut before he goes into other portions or other boxes to cover his head. He gets a full refresh of wood. Nice little 100 crack. His opponent is just trying to chop out for his life. Peterbot is doing just such a good job. Now, I don't know how on God's green earth he survives this. Just great reaction time, really. And just kind of clutching up, hitting your shots. And good mechanics to get out. It's just pure mechanics, really. Good tarping ahead. He's controlling a lot of space in front of him. And now someone's going to run back through. And that's going to make it easy for him. He grabs the chug cannon. And he's lucky to have some charges. And here's the thing, because of that chug cannon play, or him finding that chug cannon, he has an opportunity to win heal off. So with his builds, he's not going to really crank for height. He's going to kind of pressure height. Does a good job of pressuring. Doesn't hit anything. But here's the opponent not, and then right here, he doesn't have
fucking crazy
any wall to protect it. But that is, you can see the game plan, right? So the game plan there is simple. Get a tag, and then go down and heal. After he popped that chug cannon, that opponent's not popping anything. Peterbot in that mind goes, okay, I just need to get a tag so I get the point for the kill when Storm kills him. I need to get my tag and get out. Now, unfortunately, he didn't have the wall to protect off here, so it almost didn't work out. But, fortunately for him, it did.
I'm crazy. Go next, go next, go next.
Does a great job. Now we're at Craggy again. As you can see, a plan for his drop spot. Now, I have no earthly idea how this opponent lost that easily with a blue pump. You put this guy in the whoopty. That's such just good. Let's just appreciate the mechanics here. This guy is just getting 200 to 0 with an arrow and having a blue pump and shield off spawn. And then you can see the piece control on display. Oh my goodness. We don't get to see a lot of the fight, but... And then there's opponent just chilling in his old tarp.
Look for someone.
And now this is a really stacked game, about 40 people going into moving. And you see Dudu is a...
Follow him.
Look, and so the person's a call, look, follow him. Why are they saying that? He has 5 builds to his name. And this is what you have to do. This is a desperation.
Just land in someone's box.
You can.
Right here.
He just finds a perfect opponent who accidentally clones himself.
Nice.
He gets about 500 more mats to deal with.
500 mats. Just short launch, short launch. Just stay back here and short launch.
So he has a pad here, so he's going to want a short launch. And he does a fantastic...
Launch and then launch next zone to height. Big height in this game.
And then Savage just jumps in his box.
Fuck, bro.
Again.
Savage is dog shit for that.
Gotta get out. Well,
Now things get a little bit, like, just, you can kind of see, like, maybe a little nerves or
nice.
just uncomfortableness with the situation.
You can pad to height next zone.
Now they're telling him to pad to height. But he's not on a layer where he can do that. And as you can see, the pad is just horribly scuffed. And you've got to be... Ral just is sniffing right here. This is fantastic piece control. And then after just scuffing a launch pad, to just have the balls, not really the balls, but just more of like the confidence. He gets this whole game, like this crack pretty much ends up this entire sequence. After you do something like this to the end game, look at it, he's sniffing the wall with his blueprints out. He gets a huge impact after scuffing a launch pad, gets so many mats, goes 5-2-3, and gets another chug cannon just with fantastic piece control. And then basically that scuff pad is just a thing of the past.
So many mats. 1k mats.
Say I'm not the best. Say I'm not the best.
You're fucking best. Let's
You
go.
are the best.
You're not the best. Say that.
What the fuck?
Look at him cutting off people in front of him here, taking a nice little
Bro, got shit on!
horizontal approach. Trying to cut these people off.
What the?
And then they get stuck in this box.
Bro.
Did you Kovacs or some shit or what?
Hell no, bro. I never come back to my life.
Not gonna
You just look at height. Wait.
It's stabilized.
You can get height. You can get height. Just flank it.
Wait. Can I make? How much points is it for money?
What the fuck
Shut up,
up, bro?
Go, shut up.
Trying to go for height, decides not to go for it.
Bro.
Why are you shooting me? You are back. Yeah, get shit on. Yeah, you just die. Dumbass.
270 mats.
Dumbass bitch.
There's still 20 people alive.
She's opponent,
Height, easily.
and then he waits for height to be a little bit more manageable, and he makes the play. And then this opponent
Nice.
Nice.
Peter.
This opponent has no mats when trying to contest height.
260 mats.
I knew there was a beacon.
Drop.
There's
Where
gonna
was
be
that guy?
freak of nature, bro. There's gonna be little degenerates looking up for you,
Okay, okay.
man.
Keep on. Yeah.
And then with him sitting on height here,
No one's really gonna look up
No
anymore.
people left.
I pulls back.
with him going into knife, he just needs to sit up here. And that's all he's going to do, is just sit up here the whole time. And that's all he needs to do.
Aim,
Oh.
hello?
We're-
Aim, come back, please. Yeah, you're dead.
Beating them.
Hello? Aim! I think I was hitting the tree. Don't trip.
Turn it off because he's on height. He's immediate anymore.
Facts. That's actual fact.
Bro,
Yeah, bro. You tell it off, bro.
turn it off.
Bro, no.
120 mats.
Yes, and we see a little bit of throwing right here, just not hitting his shots.
Not down that much. It's height.
This is true.
Maybe a little Kovacs needed, but the aim was fantastic early on, but this is towards the end of the tournament. Maybe some nerves.
What heal up?
No, you actually went here.
Good comms from the people in the call, too. Tell him to get all the way up.
You just tapped out. Okay.
It's going to maximize his
On the
placement.
tree, on the tree. Nice.
Literally just save up chug
Stay up,
shots.
Stay up. Just stay up.
Yeah, I don't think there was any reason to drop down here. We saw that previously.
Try to win now.
One of the first
For
game.
that, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Someone says you're ballsy for that. And look, he's now maximized it into a 1v1.
Chill out, chill out.
Sussy baka.
Trisha's below you. Nice.
Just follow it.
He's trying to look, bro.
Easy kill. Give chug. One more chug after. Give chug again.
Nice little fantastic crack, and the opponent dies to a storm.
I'm the best player in the game!
So a great job again of just maintaining sitting on height. We see just sometimes a little overzealous drop downs, a little overzealous, and maybe that's just because he's feeling it. He's been dominating the tournament. He already has two or three wins underneath his belt. Now let's take a look, and I believe this last game he ends up getting
nice.
second. Game number 7.
It's on a pep.
27 white here. And then we're going to see just the Mitra Classic in. Gets the elimination onto Jay. And then a nice little moving zone. And then it kind of just... kind of skips towards the 9th. And look how many mats we have here. About 400. We have so much space on the low ground. Opponents just gets bullied. It's absolutely bullied with piece control. We see him doing this quite a bit. I like this little move that he does. Is where he edits a window, places a ramp over and resets. We've seen it a couple times now where he's done this to particular opponents. Usually with right hand peaks, usually always being a part of it, but he catches this opponent, so he actually doesn't do the window here, but he just makes sure to full box. Now, it's like sometimes the cautionary thing, you need to make sure that opponent is more away from you. If you do it too close, they'll get on top, and then they can AR spam you or just pump you in the mouth. But if you time this right and you know your distance, and then he just full boxes and he's got this opponent sitting here just looking at the wall, shooting at the wall, trying to get out. He gets a free elimination and is going to get another little miniature kind of refresh. Looks like a good about 200-ish builds to play with, which is going to allow him to, again, look at the amount of space he's controlling on low.
Try not to use your chuck cannon anymore.
Tell him try not to use the chug cannons.
Yeah, 400 wood. You reload.
A couple missed shots, and now things kind of just go a little bit haywire here. But again, good mechanics. And he doesn't have any minis, so he's going to have to use
210 mass. Height's right above your
good little
I did
cones
not have mass by there.
to kind of, again, protect his top. And then he's going to go for height and ninth.
Playing so strong,
Drops,
funny.
and he keeps it. Nice little 59 tag.
Watch your AR by there.
No mats, no mats.
No mats. Fantastic. Gets a crack, and it's a 1v1. No mats, though, and no chug cannon. Can he clutch up? We'll find out. Just misses the pump shot, just due to the change.
It's whatever.
That's right. That's right.
Probably another professional player, but a fantastic job overall. Very good. We saw a lot of fantastic preemptive piece control early on. We saw just a lot of understanding of what to do on high ground. We saw the clutch factor within that one game that he won where Savage flew into his box. That other guy came to his box. He had 5 builds on rotation, and he gets a huge impact and ends up getting an 8-kill victory royale out of it. Just good clutch factor. We saw the W keying on display. We saw the mechanics on display, the piece control, all that general stuff. Peterbot being a very cracked mechanical player, I would say more than a cerebral type player. We've seen a couple times just kind of dropping down and kind of putting his matches in jeopardy. Not maybe the most intelligent play, but more of the I'm just better than you. I'll crank my mechanics, use whatever little mats. I'm going to get high ground. You're going to fall no matter what. We saw that throughout. So a lot of good stuff to learn. But that is going to do it for today's VOD review, guys. I hope that you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like in this video. Hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.